Greetings, everybody, and welcome to the Goodyear Tire and Rubber Company's Strategic Analysis and Opportunity, developed by the Squeaky Wheels team. Let me introduce myself. My name is Louise Fall, and I am the president of the Squeaky Wheels team. I will be discussing the Strategic Opportunity Plan for the Goodyear and Tire Rubber Company today, as well as introduce the rest of the team and what they will be discussing. Our Vice President is James Simone, and he will be going over the success and failure of our analysis as well as what we have learned. We then have John Smith, who is our Chief Financial Officer. He will be discussing the different implementation tools we used to develop our strategic opportunity and analysis. And lastly, we have our Chief Executive Officer, Cody Chongwe. He will be discussing the implementation, control, and evaluation piece of our presentation. Now that the team has been introduced, let me turn it over to our CFO, John Smith.
Hi, my name is John Smith. I am the Chief Financial Officer at Squeaky Wheels, and I will be discussing our SWOT and TOES analysis. Displayed here is our SWOT analysis. SWOT is an acronym for Strengths, Weaknesses, Opportunities, and Threats. We have identified strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats of the Goodyear Tire and Rubber Company and have organized them into a visual display. They are not necessarily in a weighted order. In the strengths box, we have that Goodyear is a NASCAR supplier. They are profitable, solvent, and diverse economically. They have great brand recognition. They're an industry-leading product innovator. They have a strong marketing position and brand image, and they are a well-spread operational network. In the weaknesses box, we have poor factory conditions, air pollution issues, higher production costs compared to American competitors, high research and development costs, and legal proceeding costs. In the opportunities box, we have brand varieties. They have lots of capital for innovation and acquisition of other companies. They have a global manufacturing presence, advances in technology. They have a growing global demand for tires and rubber and new product launches. In the threats category, we have overseas imports, tariffs and potential tariffs, volatile worldwide rubber prices, innovation limitations by the product, and intense competition in the market. TOES is SWOT backwards and is comprised of two sections. These sections are internal factors and external factors. The internal factors are strengths and weaknesses. These are factors that the company has control of. The external factors are opportunities and threats. These are factors that the company does not have control of. The TOES situational analysis lays out measures that address using internal factors to counter external factors. We have identified a couple of key areas that manifest our strategic opportunity. If you look, you see that a strength and a threat combine here, where we broker deals to contract for fixed pricing on raw materials and acquisition of raw materials supplies. Here, the same thing. We have a weakness that's countered with a threat, which is the use of innovative resources to reduce material costs, thus reducing overall operating costs. These comprise our strategic opportunity that will be discussed in further detail next by Louise.
Thank you, John. Now, as John mentioned, the SWOT and TOES is comprised of material to help develop our strategic opportunity. Based on this information, We believe the strategic opportunity for the Goodyear Tire and Rubber Company is to continue to use its strong financial position and financial leverage to control its input costs. They have a current market cap of about $7.1 billion and a revenue of about $15.3 billion, and have displayed a long-term positive growth in the market. Looking at this financial information and that of their competitors, we believe that they have a competitive advantage via available capital. The world price of rubber is expected to rise steadily over the next 5 years at a rate of 1% per year and has demonstrated it can be extremely volatile. We believe by using their financial leverage to negotiate raw material contracts, create better strategic alliances with raw material suppliers, and controlling surplus inventories, the company will have greater control over its input costs in the long run. We also believe the company should make a significant investment in rubber recycling projects for end-of-life tires. Increasing the company's position in recycled rubber will act as a hedge against the volatile price of natural rubber. Additional benefits for the organization to increase its recycling activities is to improve community relationships and expand corporate social responsibility. Given the volatility of rubber prices globally and the strong influence price has in the consumer tire market, we believe that Goodyear's financial position provide a strong opportunity to reduce future operating costs and increase profitability by focusing on reducing input costs of raw materials. Now I'm going to turn it over to Cody Chongaway, our CEO, and he will be discussing implementation, evaluation, and control.
Thanks, Luis. This is Cody Chongaway here to discuss the implementation of our strategic opportunity. Our primary focus is to reduce our operating costs by reducing our cost of goods sold. The three main objectives are to reduce unnecessary inventory, renegotiate supplier pricing, and use our buying power to enter into more favorable long-term contracts to offset the expected increase in rubber prices. Our total budget for the project, which can be seen on the right, is $42.5 million. The project is scheduled to be completed by the end of the 2018 fiscal year. The first step, reducing unnecessary inventory, begins with an audit of our current suppliers and purchasing records to ensure we are not duplicating purchases or ordering unnecessary raw materials. Second, we will look to renegotiate contracts with our suppliers in an attempt to lower the amount we are spending through the supply chain. For certain materials where we currently only have one supplier, we will also look to expand our supplier base to ensure the pricing is fair and competitive. Having more suppliers and more options gives us more leverage to negotiate pricing. We will also review contracts coming up for renewal to see if we can secure longer-term contracts at better rates in order to again offset that increase in the expected market price of rubber. Supply chain and purchasing managers will be the project leaders for this initiative. They will have the authority to buy out contracts and initiate new contracts as they see fit. Next, we will look at the project expectations and evaluation. As previously mentioned, the project goal is to reduce our raw materials cost. It is our biggest expenditure, and it is a major component of the company's financial performance. When talking about materials cost, we naturally look at a company's cost of goods sold. Raw materials roll directly into this category, making it the easy choice for our project's key performance indicator. This KPI is also convenient in the fact that it's already calculated in the company's financials. There is one flaw, however, to using cost of goods sold. If production is increased, so would cost of goods sold. If you're producing more, naturally it costs more. This isn't necessarily a bad thing or any real indicator of the project's performance, simply the company producing more. With that said, we will be using the cost of goods sold ratio as our key performance indicator. The ratio is a simple calculation that incorporates cost of goods sold as a percentage of sales. Thus, if the business grows, so will sales and cost of goods sold, and this eliminates the flaw with just using cost of goods sold and gives us a more accurate performance metric. Unfortunately, there is also a small flaw with using just this ratio. If sales increase disproportionately due to other factors like marketing or product development, the cost of goods sold ratio would improve regardless of this particular project. To offset that possibility, we will be incorporating a second target. The first target, our primary target, is to bring the cost of goods sold ratio down to 71.5% by the end of the 2018 fiscal year. This will bring us back in line with the 2014 to 2016 trend, which is shown in the graph on the left. The second target is just a straight 6% reduction in cost of goods sold. Having these two targets working in combination guarantees that the results we see are in fact from our efforts and not just a byproduct of other factors. We believe these targets are challenging but attainable. If you'll notice in that graph on the left, 2017 saw a sharp increase in the cost of goods sold ratio. This was directly attributed to a large increase in raw materials cost. By targeting the source directly, we believe the project will be highly successful. And next, we'll look at a couple controls and things to watch for during the implementation and evaluation of the project. In order to properly track the project's progress, we would like to utilize a combination of quarterly and year-end checks. First, we'll set up quarterly progress reports. We're mostly concerned with cost of goods sold and the cost of goods sold ratio, so that will be checked using the company's quarterly financial statements as they are published. Also included in these progress reports will be quality surveys completed by Goodyear bulk consumers like tire retailers and other partners. We will also include production defect rates in the progress reports. We have to ensure that quality is not compromised during the project. We want to reduce cost, not quality. We will also be performing a final check at the end of the 2018 fiscal year to see if our goals were met, or if the project needs to be extended or even potentially canceled. While we do not expect a large amount of variables in this project, there is a high likelihood for supplier pushback. Naturally, suppliers will not want to sell for less, so we will be developing a readiness plan for our project managers to help them work through the challenges of a supplier who is not wanting to negotiate. We will also be considering utilizing alternate suppliers if we are unable to come to an agreement with our current supplier. In such an event, we would like to stick with our current suppliers if possible, but if needed, we are willing to find other suppliers. This has been Cody Chongaway, and I'd like to thank you for your time today. I'll now hand the presentation over to our Vice President, James Simone, to discuss the project's potential successes and failures. Thank you.
Thank you, Cody. My name is James Simone, and I'm the Vice President of the Squeaky Wheel Group. I'm going to discuss our success and failure for our strategic opportunity. We believe our strategic opportunity of using our financial position to control input costs by targeting raw materials has a high likelihood of success. Our measurable goal is to reduce our cost of goods sold by 6% by the end of the year. This seems like a lofty goal, but our break-even point to implement the plan is less than a 1% reduction. This makes the risk-reward extremely attractive. With any financial investments, organizations must weigh the risks. Perhaps some of our suppliers will not want to renegotiate contracts or provide preferred pricing. This is where we can utilize our financial leverage to incentivize those that will. Finally, the volatility of the rubber market is an ongoing concern, and a dramatic shift in the price could cause a challenge for the success of the proposal. But our research has shown that the price of rubber should only increase by about 1% per annum over the next several years. So next, I'm going to discuss with you what our group learned. Hi there, James Simone here again. As a group, we collectively identified several learning moments throughout this project. We all learned the importance of following a well-defined path for developing a strategic opportunity. It starts with conducting in-depth research, analyzing the data in research, using the analysis to identify the opportunity, implementing the strategy, and evaluation and control. Those are the measurables to determine our success. But this is only part of the challenge. We also discovered how to overcome collaboration, coordination, and technology challenges. Our greatest challenge came when, as a group, we were going down the path that was too convoluted, and we created our own self-inflicted challenges. But we are extremely proud of the fact that we learned how to make adjustments to our plan to keep us on task as a team when we could have easily self-destructed. We hope you have enjoyed and found value in our presentation. Thank you very much.